Okay, everybody. We're live now, which means that not only do you get to see me, but people on the internet get to see me sometimes also. If anybody decides to join us for this. Okay, I'm going to have a look and see what we're going to speak about tonight. I just gave a shir in German. It's interesting. I give these. I've started something new now. Hi, Errol. Errol Gatov's just joined us. Yeah. I just started a shir. Oh, from Netanya. See, Errol's in Netanya. That's late. It's already 10:15. Thank you for joining us. So, in about 2006. No, two more. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Anthony. In about 2006, I was living in Eretz Yisrael at the time, and there was a fellow that came to me by the name of Joshua Spinner. And Joshua Spinner runs an organization in Berlin, in Germany, for teaching German Jews. And he wanted to meet me. He says, I want to meet you. I says, but, I'm not so sure why we're meeting. He goes, well, I'm like, I'm not really looking for a job. It's not, it's interesting you want to meet me. We want to offer you a job. I said, I know you might want to offer me a job, but we're not really, I'm not really looking to move anywhere with a job. And I said, well, look, come and meet with me. So I sat down and we spoke about Germany and where Germany's up to. By the way, does anybody know how many Jews live in Berlin nowadays? There's 100,000 Jews living in Berlin. Yeah, that means that is 3 times the size of the community in Manchester, right? So if we think of ourselves as a big community, there are actually 100,000 Jews in Berlin. Lots of them from the former Soviet Union. I'm not sure who's how Jewish, etc. I've not seen all the paperwork and everything, but the bottom line is that at the moment there are 100,000 Jews living in Berlin. And a few years ago there was, I don't know if you heard the yogurt scandal, the cottage cheese scandal. Did any of you hear about that? There were people that found out they were paying more for Tenuva yogurts in Israel than they were paying for them in Berlin. And there was a boycott. They boycotted Tenuva. Tenuva is one of the biggest dairy producers in Israel. They actually boycotted Tenuva because they said, how can that be? It doesn't make any sense even. You have these yogurts that are produced in Israel. You have to ship them out to Germany in cool transport, and they're still 20% cheaper in Germany. That means you guys are ripping us off over here. It doesn't make any sense. Otherwise, how in the world is it so cheap in Germany? Whatever. So that was going on over there in Germany, and we had this whole conversation. And at the end of the conversation, after he spoke to me for some time, he says, "Can I be very honest with you?" I said, "Go on. You want to be very honest with me? I love honesty." Here he goes. Don't you realize that you have a gift from God that nobody else has? He started screaming at me. I said, what? He said, don't you realize you speak German? How many German-speaking rabbis are there out there? And you're going to take that talent and you're going to waste it on going to Manchester where there's 1,000,001 Rabbonim that can speak English probably just as well as you can and better than you can. What are you doing with yourself? Pardon? It's you told off. Yeah, it was me told off. That's, there's a true story that happened. The guy that was he was not very happy with me, to put it mildly. I had the conversation with 1 or 2 other people, some very great people in Yerushalayim, and we decided together that, with all that and with the guilt trip and with everything else, I still going to go to Manchester. And, here we are, Baruch Hashem, and not look back. Okay. Tonight, I'd like to discuss a few different interesting things. How does Rabbi Kupitz usually do it? I have a few different ideas.
You should pick a starting point somewhere wherever we left off last year.
Okay, so I'm not going to be able to pick up wherever he left off last year, but
And then he sort of goes through the translation and he brings in various other sources and whatever. Oh, yeah, prepares. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I think he's had the cards a long time.
He just shuffles them. He says, "Well, it looks like I've not said this in a while. I don't know." Okay, so I'm going to discuss something. I want to discuss. This is a big discussion in Hashkafa, in Jewish ideology, and it makes a very, very interesting discussion. I want to start with this tonight. The Torah says as follows: "By you, Chayei," and looking right at the beginning, we are in chapter 23, verse 1. A good place to start. The beginning is a good place to start. How's it go?
Let's start at the very beginning.
Yes, it's a very good place to start. Yeah, let's start at the very beginning. Very good place to start. Yes? So we're starting right at the beginning. Vayu Chayei Sarah, and it was the life of Sarah, 100 years, or Esrim Shana, and 20 years, or Shava Shana, and 7 years, Shnei Chayei Sarah. That's the days of the life of Sarah. So we all know that the Satan, the Rashi tells us a very interesting thing. Rashi tells us that she was 127 years old, and why did she die at this point in time? Because it's written right next to the Akedas Yitzchak. We spoke about last week about the binding of Yitzchak Avinu on Har HaMoriah, Amat Moriah, and we now write about this. The reason we do it is because we want people to understand, and we want people to know that because of the binding of Yitzchak, because of what happened over there with Yitzchak Avinu, Sarah Imenu saw what was happening through Ruach HaKodesh. The Satan showed it to her, and she was so shocked and so taken by what was happening that she died from the shock. And Avram Avinu comes back now to his wife having died. And here he says, Vayiu Chayei Sarah, and they were, how does he translate? Let me ask you for the translation in the English. Ivor, in your English translation, how does he translate Vayiu Chayei Sarah?
And the life of Sarah was.
And the life of Sarah was. Yeah.
20 and 7 years.
Good. Okay. Roger, what do you have in your English over there on verse 1 in chapter 23?
Yes. I've got Sarah's lifetime was.
Sarah's lifetime was. Okay. The Arachaim says something very interesting, and we will preface that with the following point. We read, in a few weeks' time, we'll read about Yosef. Yosef was disliked by his brothers, and I think that's putting it mildly. Yosef wasn't the most popular one of his brothers. And Yosef is sent by his father. Here, let me show you this one. We'll look at this one inside even. Yosef is sent by his father to go ahead and to see how his brothers are doing. And what happens is, he comes to see them, and they say to each other, oh, here's him. Here's the guy with the dreams. Let's go, let's kill him. Let's kill this fellow. And they take him. What do they do with him? What do they do with what do they try to do with him? Well, before they do that, let's kill him, and let's throw him into one of the pits. So look at chapter 37, verse 19. Have a look at that. Yeah, chapter 37, verse 19. Page 202 if you're in the article Siddur, in the article Chumashim. Vayomru ish al achiv, a man said to his brother, here comes the man, the dreamer. Now, let us go and let us kill him. And let's throw him into one of the pits. And we will then say, a dangerous wild animal has eaten him. And we will see, let's see what happens to his dreams. Yeah. So they said, let's take him, let's kill him straight. They're not going to throw him in the pit. Let's take him, let's kill the man, and then we'll throw him into one of the pits. That's what the Torah says. And Vayishma Ruvain, and Ruvain hears Vayatzileu miyodam. Ruvain says, let's save him. Vayomer lo nakenu nafesh. Let's not kill him. Rather, Vayom alehem Ruvain, and Ruvain says, Al tishbechu dam. Don't spill blood. Hashlichu also throw him throw him into this pit, which is in the desert. But don't put a hand to him. Leman, so that he could save him from their hands. Lashiva of Aviv. Yeah. Now, what was in those pits? Snakes. Snakes and scorpions. Right? So, if I were to say to you, you know what? Let's be nice. Let's not kill this guy, right? There's a pit full of snakes and scorpions over there. Let's throw him there. Right? What would you say about a guy like that? With friends like you, who needs enemies? Yeah? That doesn't make any sense. As I say, no. Let's not kill Yosef. Let's not kill him. Okay, what's your idea? Let's throw him to the snakes. Yeah? Oh, That's a good idea.
It would feel different.
Pardon?
It would feel different.
It would feel different. It wouldn't be that they've personally killed him, but yes, it would feel different. But it says, why? What was there? But the Torah says, Reuven says, "Vayishma Reuven yatzileu miyadam." Reuven hears this and he saves them. Reuven saves the day. He saves the day. How can you consider that saving the day? What did he do? Yeah. Says Ohr HaChaim a very, very important point, and this is an important point to realize, and this is where it comes to the ideology and Jewish ideology, and that's the following. Let me ask you a question. And there's a loaded question. It's a difficult question. Can a person do something against God's will? Right? No, that would be axiomatic. That would be axiomatic. You cannot go against God's will. Right? So, if God's will is for somebody to die, then he will die regardless. Or he should die regardless, right? Says Ohr HaChaim a very interesting thing over here, something that's novel and something, according to certain opinions, is incorrect. There's a big discussion about this. But Ohr HaChaim says the following: in order to give a person free will, he does not only have to have free will in choice, but free will in action. And therefore, if A were to kill B, it's not a proof that God wanted B to die then. A could cut B's life short. Okay? And therefore, says Ohr HaChaim, let us look back at what's going on over here. We have Reuven trying to save Yosef. Well, how's he saving Yosef? Yosef is going to be thrown into this pit full of snakes. Says Reuven, no. Let's look at it this way. If I were to go ahead, hey Stephen, if I were to go ahead and I were to kill Yosef, is that any proof that we are right or that we are wrong? No. You know why? Because even if we're wrong, we still could have the ability to kill him anyway. That's what Ohr HaChaim says. However, a snake, a scorpion, an animal that has not been given free will only do what God allows it to do. And if God doesn't want Yosef to die, then Yosef won't die, regardless. Says Reuven, let's not do that. Let's be simple. Let's be a little bit more. Let's look at it this way. Reuven says, we're not going to kill him ourselves. If we kill him ourselves and we have no proof that we're right or wrong, throw him into this pit. If he dies, then it was divinely decreed that he should die. If he doesn't die, well, then God decided he wanted to save him. Yeah? Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's why we say Reuven was the one who saved Yosef, even by saying, let's throw him into the pit. Okay? Says Ohr HaChaim, back in our Parasha, now that we've said that, Vayiyu Chayei Sarah. Vayiyu means it was, but it could also mean they became. Meaning to say, maybe Sarah wasn't meant to die at this juncture in her life. But because she saw something that was wrong, because something shocked her to the core so much that her son was going to be killed, Vayiyu Chayei Sarah. Suddenly Sarah's life was cut short. It wasn't what it was supposed to be. She wasn't meant to die now, but this became Chayei Sarah. This became the lifespan of Sarah. Not that this was originally the plan. Okay? That's the first idea that I want to discuss with you. Okay? Moving on to another idea. Continues the verse over there. The life of Sarah was, and then what do we say? You know what the life of Sarah was? Mea shana, ve'esrim shana, ve'sheva shonim. 100 years and 20 years and 7 years.
Perhaps reverse from the way it's normally said, isn't it?
Well, no, it's 127. So in English, that's actually correct. But what did we throw in after each one? How would you have said it? 100. Yeah, but Mea Shana means 100 what? The Esrim Shana? Mesheva Shanim? How would you have said it? If I'd ask you to say 127 years, what would you say? 100 years and 20 years and 7 years? Or what would you say?
127.
Years, right? Years at the end, yeah? So we threw in Shonim twice. Mea Shana, Ve'esrim Shana, Ve'sheva Shonim. So the Torah says when she was like 100, she was like 20. When she was like 20, she was like 7. The Torah makes a comparison between them. But I think there's the one of the important things that you can learn over here is actually 2 important things. Number 1 is consistency, and number 2 is being unwavering in the way you are. Consistency and unwavering, and not losing, not changing around. You know, sometimes you have somebody, they start. You look at people who start in their job. The excitement is great. You know, when you started your new job, you showed up the first day, you were there 10 minutes early, you opened up the shop, and you said hello to everybody, and you shook everybody's hand, and you were, you know, I'm giving you an example from a rabbi. The rabbis, the first day, you know, you shake everybody's hand, and you smile, and anyone who makes a comment, that's wonderful, please, let's meet up, let's discuss this. This is an issue. I'd like this shul to be great. I'd like things to work. You know, you give people the whole runaround. After about 10 years, you start to get a little bit more cynical. Rabbi, yeah, Jonathan's on the phone. Oh, was that Nudnik one for me? Yeah, it changes around a bit. Oh, that Nudnik, he always calls. Hello, hi, Rabbi, it's Jonathan. Oh, yeah, I'm not. I'm making this person. The person doesn't exist. Hi, Jonathan, how are you? Rabbi, I was thinking. Like, uh-oh, here we go. This is when it gets bad. As soon as this guy starts thinking, you know that we're in trouble. I was thinking. Okay, Jonathan, go ahead. And then he gives you this harebrained idea, and you're like, I'll discuss it with exec. We'll see what they say. None of this fancy talk of like, you know, maybe I'll think about it. That's a great idea. Let's have a meeting. It starts 20 years in the job. Rabbi John on the phone. Tell him I'm not around. Yeah? You start becoming a lot more jaded. I don't know. How did your father-in-law manage it for over 40 years? Did you find there was a change? Yeah, was there consistency of a vibrancy?
Yes, well, as far as I remember, yes.
Really? It's an amazing thing because people, do you understand what I'm saying? People, as they've been in something for longer, they start to lose patience for it.
Well, I mean, I only came across it like 15 years ago. I joined the shul in 64 and he died in 79.
Yeah, but that was the last 15 years. That would have been the years that he could have been the most, burnt out already. People burn out. I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying about myself either. But you know that people burn out. You know that this is what happens. Not everybody's got the kayak to constantly have the same thing day in, day out.
It was only 62, so it was quite relatively young.
It was what relatively young? What, when he passed away?
Yeah.
It was only 62 when he passed away.
Yes.
For those, but that was no. Even in those, that was considered. That wasn't considered so old. That was still considered young. I mean, today 62 is even younger than it was then. But even then, in the 70s, what was the average lifespan at the time? What would you say? 70, 75?
So different.
Oh no,
No, it is much longer nowadays. The average lifespan,
About 5 years.
is it just 5 years? No, you go around the Beisayim, you see a lot of people in the olden days. They died a lot earlier. They did. It was the lifespan was shorter.
Look how many people in the 80s and 90s now.
Yeah, a lot more. And we're an aging society with a society that's not really replenishing the youth, because nobody has children anymore because everybody thinks they're paying. Yeah, why should I have kids? They cost a lot of money. They're paying. No, we're not having it. All right, fine. Don't replenish the people.
That's the problem with the state pension, isn't it?
Well, there is an issue
because imagine a pay for the parents and the children pay for me, but there's not enough.
There's not enough, and people are getting older, and the pension, they need a lot more money in the pension pot to pay for people that reach 95 than for people that reach 65.
There's no fund. There's no state pension fund.
Is there? Is it just money coming in from
Yeah.
Today's workers are paying today's pensions.
Is that how it is? Okay, well, look. Yeah. Be that as it may. But you say Me'er Shan V'Esrim Shanim. I think one of the lessons of Me'er Shan V'Esrim Shanim is the fact that there was at 100, she was like at 20, and at 20, she was like at 7. There's a youthful enthusiasm at 7. You ever see a 7-year-old, you give them a job, they're always skipping along, they're smiling, life is good. When you turn 20, you're already a teenager. But I used to think as teenagers, we all used to think as teenagers, we had the biggest problems in the world. Yeah. Then you get married and you realize you don't even know what problems are. And then you have kids and then you realize you had no idea when you thought you got married, you thought you understood what problems were. Now you have kids, you can understand, I'm not saying marriage is a problem or kids are a problem, but you come upon issues in life that you never came upon. When you were a single boy, what was the biggest issue you could come up with? Where am I going to go on Saturday night? I'm going to be bored. Am I not going to be bored? Is somebody going to ask me to come along with? That was your big problems. Am I going to be cool? Are people going to like to hang out with me? Or they're not going to want to hang out with me? That was your issues. Yeah. Then you get married, you start seeing, there are real issues in life. There are real things to discuss beyond whether, my tie matches my suit or not, or whether I'm considered cool. And then you have kids and you start thinking about the problems that come up with chinuch, with raising children. Raising children is not an easy thing. Raising children is a lot of work. Raising children comes with a lot of challenges. Making them go in the right direction, motivating them, making sure that they have the right self-confidence, making sure that they go in the path that you want them to. There's a lot of challenges, and it's not getting any easier. Chinuch is not becoming an easier thing. And if you're 100, you could probably look back and you can say, oh, you think at 20 you know what challenges are. You're just a newly married kid. I've seen children, and I've seen grandchildren, and I've seen great-grandchildren, and I've seen all sorts of things. Older people have a lot more experience in life. Yeah, they just do. Pardon?
Said you're like dead at 100.
Well, okay, that's what we say in Pirkei Avos. In those days, it's not as bad in those days. In those days, people lived for longer. But you're right. But at 100, but if you're at 100, and if you're like Jules Green at 100, Jules Green had seen, he was still in very, very good shape at 100, and he had seen it all. Yeah? He was born like 1913 or something like that. Yeah, he'd gone through 2 world wars. He'd gone through a lot of different prime ministers, things in his life. He'd gone through tremendous. Here's a man you can ask for a lot of stuff, a lot of wisdom. And that's what we're saying. Chayei Sarah was 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. That 100 she was like at 20, and at 20 she was like at 7. There was a certain consistency in her life. That further on in her life, we didn't turn around and we didn't say, hey, Yodi. Further on in her life, we didn't turn around and we didn't say, oh, well, she's just burnt out from life. She's not excited about life anymore. Life's, used to be good. Life's not good anymore. It's the other way around. Life kept staying good. Life kept staying interesting. Life kept its vibrancy. And that is an amazing thing that you see about Sarah Imenu. Okay, let's move on now. We have the sale, and the sale is with Ephron, and Ephron's an interesting person. And I believe Ephron sometimes gets bad press, more than sometimes he might deserve. So you have Ephron. Ephron is the fellow that Avraham Avinu wants to buy the burial plot off. And he comes to the Bnei Ches and he says, I need to find a burial place. He says, no problem. And you are like a prince of God amongst us. We'd love to help you. We'd love to give you. What do you need? And he says, well, you know what? I'd like to have the Ma'aras HaMachpelah, the double cave, which belongs to Ephron. And Ephron is sitting amongst the Bnei Ches, and Ephron comes forward. And he says the following. Lo Adoni Shmaini, please, my master. The field is yours. You could have the cave in it also. I've given it to you. Keep it. And Avram bows down, and then Avram says, no. Listen, I want to pay. I'd like to pay you. I don't want favors. I don't want it free. Yeah. It's interesting, paying and favors, etc. Was a... Somebody told me recently a story about a very senior Rav in London, that before he became a Rav, he went to speak to his Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Gurwitz, in Gateshead. And Rabbi Gurwitz actually said to him 2 things. He says, let me teach you 2 things. Because this was a very, very frum Haredi man. And he says, and let me teach you 2 things about Rabbonos. Number 1, he said, it is not the end of the world if people say Hallel on Yom Ha'atzmaut. Don't fight it. That's the first thing that he said. Coming from the Rosh Yeshiva of Gates, he said, you're going to lose out, because he knew this fellow was he's a kanoi. He was somebody that would put his foot down about it. And he could turn to the whole fight. He says, look, it's just not worth the argument. Don't argue about it. It's not worth, you have only that many arrows in your quiver. What are you wasting an argument on something like as trivial as Hallel on Yom Ha'atzmaut? Don't fight about that. That's number 1. Number 2, he said, no monies from your community. He said, no monies from no monies from the community. And he said at one point there was a really, really difficult challenge that he went through, and it was very, very hard for him not to take money. There were people sometimes you do a levaya, you do a wedding, and after it says, Rabbi, they give you a little envelope, or they give you that funny handshake. I hate that handshake, especially when people do it in front of everybody. Everybody saw in that handshake that was like, why do you think somebody's shaking your hand like this? Like, like so funny. Everybody saw it, and everyone's like, wonder what he gave him. Well, it's not drugs, right? Okay, so no, but everybody knows it's cash. Yeah, and I was like, is that a 20? Is that a 50? What is he giving him? It's uncomfortable, right? And okay, sometimes you have to take it, sometimes you don't have to take it. If you can afford not to take it, how wonderful, great. But the Rav Gura said to him, says, if you take it, you remain beholden to certain people, and in your Rabbanus, as a rabbi, you don't want to be beholden to certain people. There are certain people, even in Manchester, there are certain very, very big philanthropists. They give a tremendous amount of money to tzedakah. However, it's my way or the highway. And they're almost dictating to different schools and to different organizations what their policies should be. I bankroll it. Yeah? And people tell me, says, well, we need his money, so we can't really not. But on the other hand, not always is it a good way of doing things. Sometimes it's a very bad way of doing things because you'll be stuck. Anyway, so Ephron says, take it for free. Have it, you can have it. So, Avram says, no. I want to pay you. Please, I want to pay you. Do me a favor, I want to pay you. Says Ephron, really? Says, yeah. He couldn't believe it. You offered a Jew something free and he says, let me pay. I couldn't believe it. He says, okay, well, if that's the case, pay me 400 shekel gold, silver coins, 400 shekel kesef. It's a fortune, right? I mean, imagine that. Imagine if I said to you, I'll take, if I said to Alan, let's do some business. Don't worry, I'll take care of you. You take care of me, I'll take care of you. Don't you worry about it. Fine, when Alan comes and we do business together, and he comes to me and he says, so what's the final bill? Alan, for you, £2 million. Pardon? Yeah. Didn't you say you were going to take care of me? Yeah. That's taking care of you. No, it's not taking care of you. That's taking care of me. It's not taking care of you. He's giving him this extortionate price. Why is he charging such an extortionate price? It's a terrible amount.
There's lots of discussion about how much it's actually worth. It's a fortune, isn't it?
There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money. But the bottom line is, and this is a very, very important thing, is that and we see this from Ephron. Ephron's a big talker. Ephron likes to talk. He says, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to take care of this, I'm going to take care of that. But when it comes to it, sometimes people say, I will help you, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then when it really comes to it, suddenly it starts, when the going gets tough, not so easy. Yeah? When suddenly, if I said to you, it's free. Really? Here. And I pull out a wad of cash. We go, maybe it's not free. Suddenly when you see that cash, when you see that glint in his eye, and he suddenly goes, I didn't realize we were talking serious money. Why didn't you say so? Okay, pay up. And that's what Ephron is. Ephron is the man that on the one hand, he talks a lot, but on the other hand, when it comes to really doing it, when it comes down to it, he doesn't have the wherewithal to hold himself back. He can't do it. He wants to. He's desperate to. Just too much money to turn down. I can't turn it down. Right?
He said,
yeah, but that's what he said. But that's the thing. And that's the interesting thing. He says, and between two friends like us, Alan, between you and me, what's £2 million? What is it already? You're like, a lot of money? Yeah. That's what you're thinking. But that's how he puts it. That's right. You're right, Roger. Absolutely. Between you and me, what difference does it make?
And then he mentions the price.
Imagine, yeah, nobody says, right? But Avraham Avinu goes and he gives Ephron the money and he gives them the best and he gives them crisp bills, fresh new shkolim. Crisp bills. I don't know if anybody. Have you? I put my hand in my pocket sometimes and you feel this plastic in your pocket and you pull it out. It's a 10-pound note and you're like, what is this thing? You don't find it doesn't feel like money. It's got this funny feel to it. Although people say it's going to be the last £10 note that they make anyway. You know, the next one, we're going to turn into cashless society. Maybe we'll, maybe we won't. Hi, Phil, come on in. Right? Okay, so that's as far as Ephron is concerned. However, I saw tonight something very interesting about Rivka. And Rivka is the opposite. Yeah, and Ephron and the sale. So now we move on to Rivka. If you look at Rivka, you're looking at verse 20, page 20, chapter 24, verse 17. Yeah? I'm sorry?
No.
108.
No.
Sorry? Chapter 24, verse 17. 112.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elliot. 112. If you're in the art school, Chumashim, it's on page 112, and yours, whatever page it's on. Okay? So he sees this woman and he runs towards her. He says, please let me have a little bit of water from your jug, from your pitcher. And she says, no problem, drink, my master. And she quickly goes, and she takes her pitcher down onto her hand and she gives him to drink. Then she finishes to give him to drink. And she says, I will give your camels to drink as well until they've had enough to drink. And then she goes again, she empties out her pitcher into the trough, and she goes back to the be'er to get more. Says Rav Shamshon Hirsch a very interesting thing. Says, why didn't she say from the beginning what she was planning on doing? You know what she should have said to him? Say to the guy, excuse me, he said, can I have something to drink? What she should have said to him was, sure, you can have to drink, your camels can have to drink, everybody will have to drink. Yeah? Says Shamshon Hirsch, Rivka was very different. And that shows something tremendous about Rivka. Rivka held back. She says, let me do what I can do now. I will give you to drink. And she gives him to drink. I've managed that. I think I might still have it in me to give the camels to drink. Fine. Let me offer your camels to drink now. Had Rivka automatically, right from the start, said, I will give you to drink, I'll give your camels to drink, I'll give your servants to drink, I'll give everyone to drink. Drink, everybody can have something to drink. You know what she sounds like? Big talker. Yeah? Slowly. One thing at a time. First figure out if you can do this. If you can do this, move on to the next thing. But there are people that make big promises. Ephron makes big promises, and he doesn't follow through. Don't worry, you can have it free. Please take it. You can have it free. You can have it free. I'll take the cash. Not only cash will I take, crisp bills. Not only crisp bills, the brand new bill. I shouldn't have to take it to the bank and swap it over to a different bill. I want everything just so. That's a big talker. Talk. And then when it comes down to it, he does nothing. Rivka is the opposite, says Rav Hirsch. Rivka will only say something when the time has come to say it. Rivka will only say something when it makes sense now to say it. I've given you to drink. I'm happy. Okay. Now I can give somebody else to drink. I can give you camels to drink. Do I feel the strength to be able to do it? Yeah. Okay. Let me make the offer. That's a very big difference. And I think it's a very big lesson over here also. Don't make big offers. Very often people who make big offers don't come through with it. It's the people that make the small offers that you can hope at least they will do whatever they say they're going to do. But people that make big, yeah, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'll do this for you. I'll do that for you. Hopefully. Maybe. They'll do it for you. There's no guarantee that they'll do it for you. Right? And so therefore we go ahead and we say, we need to be careful. We need to realize and to focus on the fact that you can't just make an empty offer. You can't just say whatever you want to. I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that. No. Think it through. What can you manage? Can you manage this? Make that offer. Can you manage more and you do a little bit more? Wonderful. then you've exceeded expectations. But don't create this great expectation that you know you're not or probably not going to be able to get to. Because all you're going to do is you're going to leave people very, very disappointed. Okay? Now, one last idea that I want to share with you, and we're going to finish with that idea. And that's the following idea. We know in halacha there is something that's called nichush. Nichush means making omens, right? Give you a famous omen. It's bad luck to walk under a ladder. Yeah, have you heard that one before? Yeah. A black cat crosses your path. That's bad luck, right? Says the Torah, can't make any signs or symbols like that. If A happens, then that's good luck. If B happens, that's good luck. Let me make a sign. Let me try and figure this out. Can't do that. It's not right. Asks Rav Hirsch, well, if that is so, how could Eliezer make a sign with God to say, God, I don't know which girl to choose. I'm not sure which one to choose. You know what? Let's make a sign. If she offers me to drink and my camels to drink, that's the right woman. Is that like saying, that's good luck? This woman is good luck because she's, she's willing to do certain things? Usually in halacha, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't make yourself a symbolism. You shouldn't create this. If A happens, then I'll do B. But if B happens, then I'll do C. That's another way of doing things. How could Eliezer do this? It would seem that this goes against halacha. Says Rav Hirsch an important thing. He says, even though Eliezer shouldn't have done what he did, but there's a very big difference between saying, for example, if you walk under a ladder, it's bad luck. Why? Can you explain to me why if you walk under a ladder, it's bad luck? Does it make any sense? That's my next meeting. No. Pardon?
Only if the ladder falls.
Okay, if the ladder falls, then it's very sensible, right? Or if you have a black cat that crosses your path, that's bad luck. Really? Why? What difference does it make? It does cross your path. It doesn't. Who cares? How can they make any difference? So you say, that's ridiculous. You've chosen some ridiculous random thing, and you say, if I wake up tomorrow morning and it's raining, it's going to be a bad day. If I wake up tomorrow morning and the sun shines, it's probably going to be a good day. Go figure, Some of the best days I've had have been rainy days, and some of the worst days I've had beautiful weather. Just because the weather is good, it doesn't indicate anything. There's no rule. Can't use this as a rule to say, well, that must be that it's going to be good, it's going to be no good. However, here there's some sense to it as well. What was the sense behind it? What is Eliezer looking for? Character, and specifically? Chesed, correct? He's looking for the character and he's looking for chesed. So Eliezer says, I'm not saying to myself, this is not like saying, if a black cat crosses my path, it's going to be bad luck. Oh, there's a black cat, I must be in bad luck. That doesn't make any sense. That's a bad choice. But if you say to yourself, I'm testing her character here. I'm not making some kind of hocus pocus symbol or omen. I want to know, is this a giving woman or not? If I say to her, can you give me something? Will she be generous about it? Will she offer me more than I've asked for or not? Then you're already asking for something serious. There you've already turned around and you've said, I'm making a test. Yes, it's not the best way. Eliezer should have gone and found the right woman. He should have asked the right questions. That wasn't the best way to find a wife. Because the Gemara tells us, what would have happened if he would have approached a woman and she would have offered him this? And it would have turned out that she wasn't the daughter of Besuel. She wasn't from Avraham Avinu's family. Now he's stuck. Right? Ooh, you look like the right woman. What's your name? Raja. Raja who? I don't know. I'm from the family of the Maharaja here in India. Oh, well, you're the wrong family. Give him back the jewelry. Yeah? It's ridiculous. Right? It come over very strange. Shouldn't make that test. You should have gone over, asked the woman who she is, ask her, try to ascertain she's the right person, and then you'll know whom so it wasn't really the right thing to do for Eliezer. However, this at least was a sensible thing to say. It wasn't like waking up in the morning and saying, let's see what the weather is, and that will dictate what the day's going to be like. Because I'm looking for something specific. I'm looking for a character trait. I'm looking for the character trait of chesed. And if that character trait of chesed shines forth, and I can see it in this woman, and she's willing to offer me much more than what I need, because she understands what chesed is and is willing to be a giver, then I found the right person. And if this woman is not willing to do that, then I've obviously not found the right person. Obviously I have the wrong lady. That already is not nichush. That's not considered creating an omen. That's making yourself a symbol. Still not the most perfect way of doing things, but yet this is the way we did it. Okay, we will leave it here for tonight. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for all of you who joined me live. This will be available as well as a YouTube clip at one point or another.